XRP appreciating substantially against Bitcoin. Rick, I can't hang out for another 20 minutes, Rick, but I'll answer your other super chats. He says, you have more what-if scenarios than anyone I've ever met in my life. That's fair. Jake Claver, oh, the fun is being Jake. I will unleash Pinehead level agony cues on you now. Okay. Yeah, hit me with them, Rick. We'll run them down. We got Dark 30. He says, do you think XRP, ROUSD, and other cryptocurrency / stablecoins play a part in the de-dollarization process? From the petrodollar, yes, but I actually think that they drive additional demand for U.S. treasuries globally, and it will allow the dollar to continue to play a role on the global stage and remain extremely relevant, at least for another 5 to 15 years, as we kind of embark on this new financial system. So, in one way, yes, but in another way, actually adding $4 demand in a digital world. Here he is again. He says, Jake, I'm at the frickin' shell question answer, man. Question 27. What do you do when it's pouring rain and you're driving on bald tires? I've done that many times in my life, Rick. And the answer is, don't follow closely behind other people or try to maneuver very quickly, because you will rear end somebody. I know from experience. So really the best answer would probably be go buy new tires. I know they're expensive. Like, I don't know how many times in my life I have been replacing one tire at a time because I just didn't have the additional money to cover all 4 tires at once. The majority of my life has been that way up until the last really 3-4 years here. So, not fun. I wish you the best of luck on all that. And, yeah, like I said, drive slow. If you're going to hydroplane, don't follow closely behind other people, or drive on the spare. This person says drive on the spare. It doesn't matter if you have one spare and all 4 tires are bald. I can assure you, you will still hydroplane and you will still run into somebody, even if you have one of the spares on, because that's been a situation I've found myself in also. So, luckily, I've gotten a little bit better at driving in my old age, and I think it's because, I actually have tread on my tires. Who would have thought? All right, a couple more good super chats here. We got Wellbeing Space. He says, hi, thoughts on administrative repricing by the BIS. So this would kind of be like the gold repricing that we saw in 1933, but that was done by the U.S. government. The BIS is the Bank of International Settlements. They are who gives designations to different collateral. Could they reprice XRP? Not directly. I don't know that they could. I mean, I guess they could state that, that's premium collateral, and that certain circumstances or price would be what they need in order to be able to justify that. But I would think it would be post those things happening that they would be able to identify it or regulate it as premium collateral or a tier 1 asset. So it's kind of like the chicken or the egg. Which one's which? Could they be the ones that cause it? Or are they going to be the ones that affirm it? I don't know which order it's going to happen in. All I know is they're given designations here in Q2 of 2026. Retired Fire Chief, good to see you. He says there's lots of talk about XRP being repriced. Is that just another way to say price appreciation? Yeah, basically. Again, like when you have a central authority that controls the majority of the supply, and they are the global reserve currency. So this is really sounding actually pretty compelling now that I put it that way. When the U.S. controlled the majority of the gold, they were able to reprice it. from $20 an ounce to $35 an ounce on their balance sheet. And then a couple more times, 37 and then 42, and then I think it sits at 42 and change on the Fed's balance sheet still to this day. Since 1971, we just removed the gold standard and the backing and closed the gold window temporarily, according to Nixon. Obviously that wasn't temporary. We're just a few years past that now. All that being said, I lost the question here. There it is. Repricing. It would probably have to come from the BIS or the IMF if they were going to do it that way, but I think they're going to do it through supply and demand. I think that's how they're going to push the price to where it needs to be. Provident Exodus says reason they would switch to XRP rather than USDC or USAT when Tether has issues. The DEX and liquidity. And their ability to drive liquidity into it very quickly through the ETFs or demand on exchanges. USDC, I don't know if you've ever tried to trade through USDC, but it's very low volume. Let's say you wanted to buy XRP with USDC. Depending on what exchange you're on, it could be like maybe $20,000 clips is all you can process through there. It's really, there's a lot of slippage using that, and so you would need something that was a high liquid value that had a DEX built into it to be able to route payments through the most efficient manner, and that's what XRP does. Even USDT, it's been the trial mechanism for this, and even Ripple's used USDT in their ODL product, but they will move not RLUSD, but XRP once it does have a significantly higher price and is more liquid. Roughing It, not Roughnet. My wife corrected me. She says, at Japan's interest rate meeting, I know you believe that they will raise rates. I'm curious, are you thinking 70% chance or more? Thanks. P.S. What's the tea? What tea are you drinking tonight? I can tell you here. Hold on. This is toasted coconut almond bark. That's what I've got tonight. And it's good. Very soothing for the throat. I like the apple tea. My wife will give me the apple tea, or sometimes there's like an orange one. I don't know if you got, I stayed in a hotel. This is probably about maybe 6 months ago, 8 months ago. Orange bergamot. Have you guys ever smelled orange bergamot? It's fantastic. It's the smell of luxury. So, anyway, complete side tangent. Let's get back to your question here, Roughing It. Yeah, I'm probably 75%. I'm 3/4 of the way there. Could they kick the can one more month or a couple more months? I just don't. They've never done an emergency meeting, and with the way that the war is working right now, I think that this could be a big move this week on oil and where things are at. So, yeah, I'm 75%. So we're greater than 70% that they are going to raise interest rates there in Japan at the meeting on the 28th. Because I don't anticipate that they're going to have an emergency meeting. I think it's going to be at the meeting. This person, because I'm going to butcher their name if I try to say it, I think it's Renee. She says, Jake, thank you for being a beacon. Thank you. Appreciate that. I trust Roth pays in USD. Does DWP Roth pay in kind in XRP? Are the AUM fees for the Roth IRA product? Blessings to you and your family. Take care, and thanks again. So I had a conversation with my team earlier today. It does both. It pays in cash and in kind. It aggregates more XRP. So last month, people ended up with almost 1% more XRP in their portfolio at the end of the month than they started with. So, nothing crazy, but that compounds pretty quickly, right? So if you have one more 1% more XRP each month, also growing more XRP 1% each month. And again, it's not guaranteed that it'll make 1% each month. That's just the first month of this algorithmic trading strategy running. It could do worse than that. You know, present and past results are not indicative of future returns. I have to make all those statements, and this is probably a good time for my disclaimer because I didn't do that earlier. Everything here is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Uh-oh, something's messed up on the TikTok. Disclaimer in. Oh well, they'll hear it later. So entertainment and educational purposes only. This is not financial advice, and you should always speak with a financial advisor before making any investment decisions. The opinions that I'm sharing are my opinions. They are not the opinions of Digital Ascension Group or its subsidiaries. So, that being said, the IRA product that we have is good. We do charge AUM fees on it, but I'm trying to get creative on that. We've got a consult with another professional, because I am not like, I'm really good at crypto and macro. Okay. I know enough to be dangerous about all the rest of the stuff that we do. And the only reason is I've been able to listen and work with really professional people that have been doing this stuff for 20, 30, 40 years. So, you know, I know enough to be dangerous, but on the qualified accounts and the IRAs, there's a way that I would like to structure these. Actually, Max Avery came up with this earlier today. Him and I were having a conversation. We'll see if it's going to work or not, right? Because they're qualified accounts. There are stipulations around how those are regulated and what has to do. So I'm going to find out. But as of now, it pays in both cash and in XRP, and just depends on the algorithmic trading and how it does. It aggregates the cash positions.